Hello and welcome to another episode of Tech Storytelling. This Storytelling is for the business leaders and by the business leaders. I'm your host Madan, and today with me I have an amazing guest, Mr. Jitendra. Jitendra, namaste and welcome to the Tech Storytelling.
Namaste, Sav, and thank you very much for inviting to such a prominent tech story part. So, thank you, Sav.
All right, great. So Jitendra, first of all, congratulations and wish you all the best because you are one of the youngest speaker on my podcast. But I can see you
Thank
are
you.
doing an incredible job in terms of doing a lot of social as well as the government projects into the blockchain space. So can you tell us what is the motivation behind chain walks and what essentially you are doing here?
For this specific question, sir, I have to go back to the history how we started Chainworks. So, first of all, we shortlisted by the government of Maharashtra for doing some kind of POC work in the healthcare sector. So we visited to multiple departments, you can say, like as you know that under national health missions, there are so many organizations or so many departments are there, and they worked in various health issues. So before utilizing the use of blockchain technology, we visited multiple departments. Then we figure out that organ supply chain ecosystem is one of the most prominent department and which need blockchain technology. So that is how we came up with the blockchain use of blockchain technology into the organ supply chain ecosystems. So initially it was very challenging for us how to implement the technology in that particular sector. But however, over the years, we came up with solutions and we have implemented that. So that is the journey of initial stage from last few years to till now.
Okay, so this is interesting. I mean, how you are using blockchain to really stop the illegal, I would say smuggling of the organ transplant. We'll talk little bit detail once our journey starts. But I can see into chain walks, you are working into supply chain management, healthcare management, as well as the social impact. I know time is
Yes.
limited, but can you give us one example in chain walks that how you have solved its problems in healthcare, supply chain, as well as the social impact.
Okay. So this is not particularly about the problems. It was the the use of the technology.
Hmm.
So we are in the tech industry, like digital industry. We are in like either in the healthcare we have the IT, either in the supply chain we have IT, as well as in other banking domain also we have the IT, right? And all those ITs have some specific technology. So similarly, now we have a blockchain technology that is a new emerging technology. It is in the market from the last 15 years, you can say. So using that technology is very, very prominent for us. Since we are working in blockchain technology, we understand how it works, how it can be utilized into the problem statement, and what are the problem statement where the blockchain technology need to be used. That is where we came up with. So first thing was to understand the technology, and then understanding the problems where it can used. So most of the problems varies that we have worked, but the core technology was blockchain. So like blockchain means I'm talking about, there has to be decentralized databases.
True.
There has to be some
So I'm
consensus
cutting you
mechanism.
short here, Jitendra, but I just want to be very specific. I have two questions. I'll divide my question into two parts. The first thing will be examples, right? I mean, very specific to supply chain or maybe healthcare. You can give this business use case that what kind of problems you have solved. And then I'll ask you my second question.
Yes. So let's say in organ supply chain ecosystem. So this is not, this is not a uh, kind of communications within a particular hospitals. Okay. So it is a communications between hospital to different hospitals. or hospital to a government agencies, or hospital to government agency to any NGO also. So it is kind of a, multi organizations they comes together, or you can say multi stakeholders they comes together. They do the coordinations and they perform their end to end flow. So for example, let's say there is a recipient in one hospitals and there is donor in another hospitals. So the information should flow from one donor hospital to the recipient hospitals, and both the hospitals are isolated to each others. And whatever informations are going, we need to check its authenticity and its integrity of the information also. And there is no manipulations of the information also. Like for example, we are selecting a recipient, then whether the recipient is right candidates, or it is in the right way it is the recipient is being selected. So the journey of the journey of the information from one entity to the another entity is very important. So that is where the blockchain technology is being helped. So it is providing the authenticity of the informations. So since multi-stakeholders are there, so when there are multi-stakeholder communications, then we need a blockchain technology,
Yeah,
and that is
great.
where we have used this technology.
Okay. So would you like to little bit, I know that, I mean, the second question I'll ask you, but little bit, can you talk about the overall architecture, how it happens? I mean, how, I mean, where you have deployed, how the multi-parties are participating, how you have built the chain, if you have a little bit of idea on the architecture.
Yes, yes. So what we have done, first of all, we have to follow the IT rules also, IT Act rules also, as well as at the same times we have to follow the blockchain technological aspect also. Like it says that there has to be multi servers. That is, blockchain technology does not work in one single server, so we have multi servers. As well as we know we need multiple databases also, and the databases need to be work in a synchronized manner. So while creating the initial architectures, it was very challenging for us that whether to have a certain number of servers or certain number of database, or we should create a multiple databases for each stakeholders. So that was the initial questions. So we solved that first. We said that okay, whatever the hospitals who is providing the organs, like donor hospitals, we can say, we created a single server for that kind of categories. Then the categories for the hospitals where the recipients are there. So we created separate servers, separate databases where we are collecting all the recipient related information. And another kind of servers where we are having the or kind of approvals process, where there are some certain approvals are required. So we put created different servers, different databases, and we put all the approval process over there. So this way we created a multi servers, multi databases, and we made a connections so that it is synchronized in a real time, and the communication should be possible. So for example, one hospitals can be recipient hospital at the same time, and it can be a donor hospital as well. So that means they belong to two different servers.
Okay.
And for example, government agencies that belongs to different servers. So are making a decentralized kind of communications among all the networks, and the coordination is currently possible. And for that reasons, it is very challenging for the any entity to identify where my data is belongs, whether it is in this database or what
Okay.
database, they also don't know.
So
So
are
it
you
is,
using
in fact, we
Ethereum?
also don't know where the database is there
Okay.
currently.
So are you using any cloud platform like Ethereum platform, or maybe I mean distributed ledger, or you have built up your own server?
We are using the cloud server, but we are not, we have taken the cloud server services, but like for example, the controls, it is the managed, we are managing the servers. We have
Okay.
not taken the paid servers. We have taken the infrastructures only, but managing the servers, managing the databases is our on our controls.
Okay. Great. Great to know, Jitendra. Thank you. Taking this journey ahead, while I was navigating your LinkedIn profile, I see you have you have built I mean KYC based solution platform
Yes.
using the blockchain, right?
Yes.
So out of curiosity, there are two things. Number one, can you please little bit tell us what is this solution? First of all, blockchain. driven KYC? And number two, if you can let us know, because today every organization has the KYC automation in place. How this
Yes.
system is a differentiator and what kind of impact it
So,
did?
like for example, currently KYC is doing by individual stakeholders for their clients or customers, right? And and that is they need to do, otherwise they cannot provide their services also. And in fact, take one example of one industry, particular, let's say banking industry, and one particular organization, let's say SBI. Just assumptions, I'm taking SBI, okay? So they have different thousand of services they have, right? And for most of the services, they do the KYC for a particular customers most of the times, and they do it repeatedly. That means they're doing the KYC for a particular customers repeatedly for different services, which is, I think, consuming of lots of time. So they can, if they can use blockchain technology, once the KYC is being done, then they can use this for multiple services. That is one aspect. Another aspect is that, let's say it is a different, it is one is banking industry and one is the telecom industry. Telecom industry is also doing the KYC. So they can share the KYC informations. They can update the KYC informations between one entity to other entities also. For example, let's say I have taken the bank services initially, and after 5 years, I am taking the telecom services. So definitely, after 5 years, my KYC is being updated in the telecom industry, but not in the banking services. So the information can be shared from the telecom industry to the banking industry. That okay, this is the uh, customers, his KYC is this one. So across the channels, the KYC can be managed properly. If that is the idea. One is the the identity management of the customers that we have, and we can do it anonymously. That means now there is a threatening that I don't want to share the KYC information of my client to another party. There are some certain issues of it, but there is no issues because blockchain provide the anonymity. We can maintain the secrecy of the information they're sharing with the customers. Just to be here, we need to maintain the KYC information up to the mark. Like that is what the important part. Similarly, we can say that currently Aadhaar is bringing the KYC over the blockchain. They're also providing the information, but the biggest challenge in Aadhaar is the currently Aadhaar is the centralized database, and they're bringing the KYC on the centralized database, which is blockchain don't work on the centralized database. It works in a decentralized database. So either they have to do decentralize the entire database of the Aadhaar. That is one aspect. Otherwise, they have to they have to bring the services into the blockchain networks only, not the database. That can they do. So these are major aspects of blockchain they have to consider. So the KYC we did in mainly on the architectural part. If we are going to implement the KYC as a service into the different industries, how each stakeholders maintain their KYC servers in their intranet and serve the things to the internet.
Okay, this is great. So how do you see it's a differentiator? Or, I mean, what kind of impact it has brought when you move this KYC on the blockchain space in terms of the time, in terms of the cost?
Cost will be much more will be reduced. Like for example, let's say like a few years back, people were thinking that having multiple servers. Like for example, let's say I went to bank as well. Let's say I went to bank to present my KYC. They said that to run blockchain applications, I have to have minimum 3 nodes. So this is adding some extra value to my infrastructure. So why should I go for that? Currently, my purpose is already solved by using one infrastructures, and I'm doing the KYC. And if I'll go for blockchain, then I have to have at least 3 different nodes, so the infrastructure will be increased. But that is not the idea. The cost is drastically reduced because of the technology has increased. So the server can be anywhere. The server, like for example, 2, 3, they can form a consortiums also for the servers. So the cost of the infrastructure is reduced right now. And since the cost is reduced, as I said, that the KYC cost will be reduced. Like for example, let's some we are doing multiple time KYC for a particular many services within the banking, right? So one time KYC and they can use for the multiple services. So
Got it.
there also they can reduce the cost.
Got it. Yeah, this is great. So I think what I understood, you are saying that number one is there is a lot of confusion or maybe skeptical around that if I bring blockchain, this will add an additional overhead to my infrastructure and the development because already I do have the KYC in place in house, right?
Yes.
So do you see you are meeting with many startups, government agency, and the business CIOs maybe. Do you see still the level of knowledge about the blockchain or maybe awareness is lacking and that is somewhere hindering the adoption of the blockchain into the industry?
Yes, I can say that because when I say blockchain technology, most of the leaders also, most of the tech leaders also, they believe that it is all about cryptocurrencies. So
Okay.
that is the first idea that
Okay.
comes to my blockchain is nothing to do with the cryptocurrencies.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency is an application of blockchain. So it is ideal to understand when I'm talking about blockchain technology, it is all about the technology. It's its properties. It's important. It's the properties are very important. So if they understand that okay, what are the important the properties of blockchain technology we have, then only it is ideal to they can use into many services.
Hmm.
But banking industry is so potential for the blockchain technology. They have to utilize. If they will utilize it, then it is really helpful for the most of the
Okay.
cases.
Excuse me. So I mean, in fact, also I realized I'm a student of the blockchain, I would say. But what I realized there is a dearth of knowledge that business leader at this moment don't have, and that is hindering the adoption of the blockchain. Now coming back to Jitendra. Jitendra, I know that you are a graduate from IT and
Yes.
you are doing a lot of work into blockchain space. Given the chance of if some organization inviting you for the blockchain training or maybe blockchain awareness to the business leadership, hopefully uh, you should acknowledging and accepting this opportunity to help the business leaders to first of all create the awareness and then help them to start their journey, right?
Yes.
Great. So ladies
So
and
definitely,
gentlemen, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, definitely. If that such opportunities are there, then definitely I will
Sure.
welcome it.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Jitendra here, so he would be interested, and definitely he has a high level of energy to help business leaders to understand what is blockchain and how this will impact your enterprise. In case of any such kind of curiosity, you may approach Jitendra on LinkedIn. So taking this journey ahead, Jitendra, my next question to you, I think you have a hashtag of "Are you done?
Yes.
Are you done?" And I think you
Yes.
talked about one of the initiative is the organ uh, implantation in healthcare. You are doing a business use case, but at the same time, I think you are doing a lot of other initiatives with Maharashtra government and for the social impact. Can you little bit talk about the Are you done, especially through the blockchain, and what are the
Yes.
different initiatives you have walked into the past?
Uh, so, sir, Ayudan is one of the major concept. That this is under the still now we are doing the development. It is not yet complete. So first in the first phase, we try to connect it to stakeholders like different hospitals, government agencies. There are NGO also working on this domain, so we connected them, and then we are connecting to the doctors who are working on this specific domain, right? Because not every specialist or surgeons is a part of such ecosystems. Then we are trying to connect to the centers like diagnostic centers, you can say, or the emergency centers or the other agencies also. We are trying to connect into the ecosystems. because what is as well as the recipient and patients are already there, their records are already there. But when one organs we remove from a human body, from a donor, so we have a limited time period to find the right recipients and to do the allocations. So just we are a tech provider, but the reality is actually very tough for the agency who are working. They are doing the tremendous work, and we are providing the tech supports only to optimize their workload. That is the only things we are doing. But since we are using the technology, it is we are bringing the bringing the integrity and authenticity of the information. So there should not be misused of the donor organs or the the recipient who is on the top waiting list. And because human organs are very scarce resources, those resources cannot be you cannot be duplicated or you cannot be created also. So this is just one of the scarce resources we have, and we are digitizing that scarce resources into the blockchain
True.
networks. So still the process is there, and it is a long journey, because not only the adding the information, there are other clinical information also we have to understand how the clinical information works, that then only we can find the right recipients with the respect to the donor clinical information and the patient clinical information. So it is not only about the blockchain technology, it is about the algorithms and about the the process we are in building. All those things matters for the development. And I think we are trying our best, and the knowledge we are putting into the technology, so that this applications will be used for not only state government of Maharashtra, it will be used for the
Yeah.
other state
Globally.
central
In fact,
government, the
globally,
global.
this problem is globally. Yeah. Wish you really all the best. Wish you all the best. And Ayudan hopefully bring a lot of Ayush to the people. My last question to you, Jitendra.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
Along with all this initiative, I see you are a trainer as well. You are, I mean, first of
Yes,
all, I think you are teaching physics, chemistry, and mathematics to class 8 to 12. Number two, you are
yes,
teaching
sir.
and training the blockchain also, right?
Yes.
So, my question to you, I mean, though people are excited about AI and data science, but I see the level of excitement is still very low into blockchain space. If someone wish to kickstart their journey and enter into the blockchain space, where to get started?
If they're tech entrepreneurs, okay, then for them it is very easy, because they understand blockchain. They will understand technology very easily. So for them only the convincing the leader, like in that domain, like the customs they're going to sell their products. Right. For me, in my case, it is a government. They are going to use my products.
Okay.
So it is a challenging journey for me, and maybe it might be in future also. If government is not
Okay.
supporting,
You are
definitely it is
saying
challenging.
first knowing where you can apply blockchain and the business knowledge is very important. This is number one, right? So can you please
Yes.
little bit give us light, put on light on the technology? What are the technology people should be targeting and from where they should be learning?
Okay. So today also I'm supporting some startup in their technological journey. Like there are some startups they approached us because they are the non-tech startup, but they're using blockchain technology. So they come up, some of these startups, they come up with their problem statement, and we said that okay, this problem statement doesn't need any blockchain. We can do without blockchain also. So accordingly, they have started their journey. And some of the startup they come to us. They said that okay, we need blockchain technology to use. So we evaluated the problem statement, and then we said okay, we can use blockchain technology. So we help such startup also, and they're also doing they're doing extremely good in their domain. So uh, it is up to the entrepreneurs whether to use the technology. If they're using the technology in their journey, they have to understand whether to use this or not. So they can either
So
approach
there are
this or
many things into the industry. For example, like if I see Hyperledger Fabric, Ethereum, Solidity, Go
okay.
language. So
Yes.
what are the things people should be starting and learning? And from
Okay.
where to get started? Any free resource or anything that you would like to recommend?
Yeah, sir. Like in blockchain is completely, you can say, all those, most of the things are open sources only. Most of the frameworks are open sources. We have a Hyperledger Fabric, like that is, Hyperledger community is they're, managing that networks. But since most of the things are open sources and
Okay.
GitHub is there, just they should go there and they can just and there is a nice documentation set, so they can go through the documentations. But like for example, like I'll give one example. Let's say cryptocurrencies. Currently in India, most of the peoples are doing, they're coming through the cryptocurrencies. They're coming across smart contracts also. Like a smart contract is one of the integrity part of the blockchain networks. So people are talking about how to automate the smart contract, how to control the smart contract, how to, not through a single users ownership only, multi ownership, smart contracts, how to manage that automatically. And at the same time, people are trying to, reduce the transactional cost also. So how to reduce the transactional cost? So there are some startups that come up with the multi-sender, in the sense you have to give the tokens and they will, implement in various blockchain frameworks.
Yeah.
So such kind of innovative, initiatives are coming. And currently, there are how two different blockchain networks. Let's say it is a Hyperledger Fabric, and let's say open source like Ethereum.
Hmm.
Is it possible to communicate between two infrastructures in a blockchain infrastructure?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How they can communicate with each other? So these are some tech problems are also there, and people are working on that as well. And a lot of things are there in the GitHub. Just they can search,
Yeah.
like for example, blockchains. Then definitely many things will come.
Great.
And if they're looking for a specific application, then just blockchain, they give the application name only. Then some and other around some articles will be, they will get the articles.
Great, great. So I can hear you out three things. Number one is, of course, you need to understand the business use cases where you can apply blockchain, and there are a lot of
Yeah.
resource available. Number two, maybe Hyperledger Fabric is open source. GitLab is there where people can go and they can start learning free of cost. And number three, what I sensed since the very beginning, that in order to grab the real time knowledge, I think the best way is to get associated with the startups, help them to grow, and by default you will inherently you will get the knowledge, right?
Because most of the startup, they are actually, MNCs are still working on
Yeah.
blockchain technology. They're also working, so they can go to the any MNCs also.
Yeah.
They can go to a startup also
Okay.
who are working on that technology.
Great. So I think time is clocking, but Jitendra, it was really pleasure speaking to you. It was really, I mean, you have a lot of knowledge. I really wish you all the best for your entrepreneurship, and especially hopefully the Ayudan should give a lot of Ayu to others with your initiative. So this is social impact through the blockchain. Thank you very much for joining us today, and stay safe.
Thank you, sir, and nice talking to you, sir.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste, sir.